CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
It's going to be easier catching your bus in the capital region. BC Transit says bus routes in Victoria are back to full service. Riders have had to endure multiple trip cancellations for the past few months. BC Transit says because of a backlog in maintenance after the labor dispute, somewhere near 1,000 hours, it couldn't operate at full strength. And it came at a price. Transit says unreliability has hurt ridership, that levels haven't returned to pre-job action levels. Transit says maintenance staff have been hard at work getting the buses up and running, and everything should be back to normal now. For a comprehensive list of schedules, routes and maps, go to bctransit.com. A 44-year-old Victoria man has been identified as the victim in a deadly crash on the Malahat over the weekend. Ian David Slako was driving north over the Malahat early Saturday morning when his car lost control and crashed down an embankment. He was found dead at the scene. It is not clear if Slako died as a result of the crash or had some sort of a medical issue that caused the crash. The coroner and the RCMP are investigating his death. And the BC Coroner Service has confirmed the identity of a woman who was killed in a crash near Duncan on Friday. She was 56-year-old Loretta Angela Page of Westholme. Page was northbound on the highway when her car veered into the path of a tractor trailer. She died in the hospital as a result of her injuries. A Saanich family and their tenant are thankful tonight after escaping their burning home with their lives. It was a rude awakening at 4:30 this morning in the 3200 block of Weatherby Road. Saanich firefighters say when they rolled up with 2 engines, 2 ladder trucks and a rescue truck, heavy black smoke and flames were shooting from the front door, windows and rear of the house.
The occupants said they woke up to the fire and the smell of the smoke. They just had enough time to get out the front door and wake the tenant up in the basement and get out the front door. We attacked the building. We were able to get the fire under control in 10 to 15 minutes and initiate our overhaul, and we had it extinguished within about 45 minutes.
One person was taken to hospital for smoke inhalation. 2 pet cats and a bird did not make it out. No firefighters were injured. A cause hasn't been determined. Damage is pegged at around $150,000. A Lower Mainland drug dealer with gang ties has been banned from Vancouver Island thanks to Victoria Police. Officers say this hidden compartment was used to stash drugs and cash. Cops put a tail on 38-year-old Danny DeMano from Coquitlam when he was spotted in Victoria. The months-long investigation led Vic PD to a house on Carey Road in Saanich and a stash house on the West Shore. DeMano was arrested on Thursday. Officers seized 9 ounces of cocaine and methamphetamine worth about $40,000.
So we arrested him with the vehicle at the time. We were able to bring the vehicle back here. We do have officers specially trained in looking for special compartments in vehicles or any modifications. So it's brought back here. Those officers, K9 as well, and a few others went through the vehicle and found the compartment.
DeMano is back on the mainland and is court-ordered to stay off the island. He is facing 2 counts of possession of drugs for the purpose of trafficking, possession of a controlled substance, and owning or operating a vehicle with an aftermarket compartment. Police are also recommending that DeMano's vehicle be seized under the Forfeiture Act. If you see DeMano on Vancouver Island, you're asked to call 911. Not to be outdone, Saanich Police, a K9 officer and his dog Brock busted 2 people for stashing marijuana in their car. Police found the BC bud after the pair was caught blowing through a traffic sign near Mackenzie and Glanford Avenue. The dog was called in to search the car after the 2 occupants appeared nervous, and Brock followed his nose to nearly 3 kilograms of pot. The pair is facing charges of possession of a controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking. Half a dozen skiers were caught up in an avalanche in the backcountry near Whistler this morning on the Spearman Glacier northeast of Blackcomb. The slide buried 1 skier for about 4 minutes. Others in the group pulled the person out unconscious. The victim was resuscitated and evacuated by helicopter and is said to be doing okay. Rescue crews are helping bring the rest of the group out of the area. The avalanche danger for the Whistler backcountry area was rated as moderate at the time. There are new concerns about North Korea's nuclear ambitions. Analysts say last month's underground test may have also been a form of advertising to sell nukes abroad. The North Korean regime recently threatened to launch nuclear strikes on the United States. The most immediate threat, however, may be Pyongyang's willingness to sell its nuclear technology to nations that the U.S. sees as sponsors of terrorism. Earlier this week, Japan confirmed that cargo seized last year, believed to be from North Korea, contained material that could be used to make bomb fuel. Nearly 60 people have been killed in a wave of sectarian violence in Iraq on the 10th anniversary of the U.S.-led invasion. More than 200 others were wounded in the bombings that targeted markets, restaurants and bus stops during the morning rush hour. It's the deadliest day in the country in 6 months. No one immediately claimed responsibility for the attacks, but Sunni militants have vowed to step up attacks this year in an attempt to provoke sectarian conflict and weaken the Shia-led government. Accused murderer Luca Magnotta collapsed in a Montreal courtroom this morning after listening to the evidence against him. The 30-year-old kept his eyes closed while evidence was presented during his preliminary hearing, covering his mouth and appearing to wipe tears from his eyes. Magnotta is facing first-degree murder charges in the death and dismemberment of university student Jun Lin. The preliminary hearing, which is under a publication ban, will continue tomorrow. A former warrant officer responsible for a training exercise that killed a Canadian soldier has been demoted to sergeant but will not be sent to jail. Instead, Paul Ravensdale will serve a 6-month suspended sentence and pay a $2,000 fine. Corporal Josh Baker was killed and 4 other soldiers were injured when an anti-personnel mine misfired during a test 3 years ago. 2 teenage girls are in custody after a stabbing rampage on Vancouver's SkyTrain. Transit police say it started last night when the 14- and 15-year-old girls apparently got into a fight with 2 other women. One of the women was stabbed, and police say the suspects then boarded a train where they allegedly slashed 2 other victims as they hopped on and off. Police say the girls are well known to them and have 142 contacts with police going back to 2012. They were armed with a large steak knife.